Yo, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be giving my NBA DraftKings picks for Monday, October 30th. We got a 9-game slate today on this Monday. Before we get started looking at this slate, if you guys would please drop a like on the video. I definitely appreciate it. And also, if you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe as well. I do make these NBA videos daily, and I also upload NFL videos every week. So if you are new, make sure you click that subscribe button. Also, be sure to click that bell next to the subscribe button. And if you do that, that will notify you every time I upload. So if you never want to miss out on any videos, be sure to do that as well, guys. Would really appreciate it. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started today looking at point guard. Alright, so at point guard today, up top we've got James Harden at 11,200 going up against the Sixers. I think if you want to pair for Harden today, I would say he's probably one of the top studs on the slate. He hasn't really been playing that well this year. He's had a couple good games where he's got 60 plus. But other than that, Harden hasn't been the monster guy we've seen from previous years. Harden's best game this year so far was against Charlotte, and he put up 62 DraftKings points. But other than that, he's just sort of been up and down. He's only had 3 games over 50 DK points. And you are paying 11,200 for him, so you're going to need, I'd say, at least probably 50, 55 to even be worth that price tag. Probably going to need close to 60, which Harden really hasn't been doing this year. But it is a good matchup against the Sixers. When he did just face this team, he put up 56.75 DK points. That's not great for 11,200, but you're definitely not going to be pissed if he gets you that much. When you're rostering a guy this expensive, you obviously want 60 plus, which Harden can definitely do. Harden's still seeing a ton of usage. He's playing a ton of minutes. So I think if you want to pay up for him, he's definitely in play on this slate at 11,200. But my favorite stud, I guess you could consider him a stud. I love the $2,000 discount you get off of Harden. I'm going to be rolling with Ben Simmons today. I'm going to be plugging him into the core at point guard. He's also eligible at small forward, so if there are other point guards you like today, you can play Simmons at small forward. But yeah, I just love this spot for Ben Simmons. The guy's been playing so well this year. He's been so consistent. If you just look through his game logs, 45, 33, 42, 55, 42, and 51 DraftKings points. Just so consistent, been crushing his price tag. Simmons is definitely going to be over 10K pretty soon. Surprised he's not over 10K yet. So I'm definitely going to be taking advantage of this $9,200 price tag. I think it's just too cheap. This guy does a ton of stuff, gets you a ton of rebounds, assists, can get points as well. Just does a lot fantasy-wise. Definitely has the potential to get you a triple-double. So at 9,200, I think that's just too cheap for Ben Simmons. I could totally see him getting over 50 DraftKings points today, which is great for 9,200. So he's probably one of my favorite studs on the slate. I love the pace of this game. I think this game could be somewhat competitive if the Sixers can hang with Houston, which I think they can. Ben Simmons should totally smash in this matchup. So I love him today at 9,200 going up against the Rockets. One of my favorite plays on the slate. Now looking for some other point guards. I think Damian Lillard's definitely in play today at 8,700. If you don't want to go up to Simmons, I think you can target Lillard here for 500 less. Going up against Toronto. He'll be matched up with Kyle Lowry, and I think that's a matchup that Damian Lillard can definitely win. So if you don't want to go to Simmons here, I don't mind Damian Lillard for 500 less. I think it's a good matchup. He's playing at home. Damian Lillard always plays well at home. So I like him here at 8,700 going up against Toronto. They're looking for some point guards in the mid-tier. There's not a ton in the 7K range I like, more in the 6K range. Another core play for me in the 6K range. It's Goran Dragic at 6,500. Just love the spot for Dragic, and I love the price tag as well. I think he's just a little bit too cheap for how consistent he's been, for how well he's been producing. If you look at Dragic's game log, he's been really consistent, 34, 33, 31, 29, and 33 DraftKings points. Hasn't really been crushing, but for cash games, he's definitely been hitting value for you. At 6,500, you're going to need about 35, 36 DK points. If you look at his game log, he's been getting close to that. And in this matchup against Minnesota, against Jeff Teague, I think Dragic can totally get over 35. Might even be able to get 40 DK points. So I just love this spot for Dragic. Love the price tag. I believe Hassan Whiteside is not going to be playing in this game, so Dragic is going to have to play a ton of minutes. He's going to be relied on for scoring. So I think it's just a great spot for Dragic. The price tag is really nice on him. So I'm also going to be plugging him into the core at 6,500. And then looking for some cheap point guards, 6K and under. There aren't a ton of value plays I see here. I think Dejounte Murray's in play at 5,500, going up against Kyrie Irving. That's a good matchup for Murray. Kyrie Irving, not the best defender. Murray has sort of been up and down, and his minutes aren't really stable either. If you look at his last 4 games, 26, 28, 24, and 20 minutes, so we don't really know what we're going to get from him minutes-wise. But if he gets close to 30 minutes, the guy can definitely produce. He can score, he can grab rebounds, he can also assist as well. So I think if you are looking for a point guard value play, I don't mind Dejounte Murray at 5,500. He's a guy I definitely have on my radar today. Also, don't mind Lou Williams here at 5,100 going up against the Warriors. I think this game could favor Lou Williams a ton. It's going to be a high-scoring, fast-paced game, which is what Lou Williams thrives in. He is relied on heavily for scoring when he comes off the bench. So if you want to also target him as a value play at point guard, I think he's definitely in play here at 5,100 going up against the Warriors. But another core play for me is going to come from point guard. He's also shooting guard eligible, so I'll be plugging him in there. Austin Rivers at 4,900 going up against the Warriors. Just love this spot for Austin Rivers, and I love the price tag as well. This guy is playing a ton of minutes for the Clippers. If you look at his game log, in his last 4 games, 33, 35, 35, and 34 minutes. And Rivers is only 4,900, so you give me a guy this cheap, playing over 35 minutes pretty much every night. I think there's just too much value here with the guy this cheap, playing all these minutes. And in a fast-paced game that I think is going to be high-scoring, like I said earlier, Rivers could totally thrive in this game. I believe he's had some pretty good games in the past against the Warriors. So I love this spot for Austin Rivers. Love the price tag. Love that he's playing over 30 minutes, which is something I always look for when targeting guys for value. I want guys, or if I'm looking for guys for value, I want them to be playing a lot of minutes, which Rivers definitely is doing. So I think he's a value play you should consider today at 4,900 at point guard. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it for point guard value-wise. I think TJ McConnell is an option here at 4,400 against the Rockets. JJ Redick did miss their last game. Not sure if he's going to miss this game. If Redick is out, then definitely consider McConnell here. He did see a minutes increase with Redick out. Played 31 minutes against Dallas, put up 33 DK points. When he played Houston a couple of days ago, he played 28 minutes and put up 36 DK points. So I think TJ McConnell is a value option you can consider, especially if JJ Redick is out. McConnell should definitely see an uptick in minutes, so be sure to mark him down at 4,400. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for point guard, guys. Let's go ahead and move on to shooting guard. Alright, so shooting guard, some guys here that I'm going to be targeting. DeMar DeRozan, he's 7,900, gets to face Portland. DeRozan's price tag is pretty nice here at 7,900. He has been playing pretty well. He has been exceeding value as of late. DeRozan's been really consistent in his last 3 games, over 40 DK points in 3 straight games. 41 against San Antonio, 47 against Golden State, 41 against the Lakers. And now he gets to face a Portland team that does play at a very fast pace. And this game should be high scoring. Not the best matchup defensively against CJ McCollum. But I think DeRozan can still provide plenty of fantasy points here. I think he can definitely get you 40 plus, keep that streak going. So if you want to pay for shooting guard, I definitely think DeMar DeRozan is in consideration today. 7,900. And then looking in the mid-tierish and 6K range, Klay Thompson gets to face the Clippers. I think this is a great spot for Klay Thompson. I'd imagine they put Austin Rivers on him. And although I like Austin Rivers today, Austin Rivers is not a very good defender. And we know Klay Thompson provides a ton of upside. If this guy gets hot, he can rack up 30, 40, 50, 60 DK points if he gets hot. If he starts making his shots, he can provide you so much upside. And in a fast-paced game that I think actually could be pretty competitive. I think the Clippers are going to be pretty good this year. Obviously, they're not like a championship favorite, but I think they can still hang with some of these teams in the West. I wouldn't be surprised if the Clippers somehow actually might be able to win this game playing at home. So for that reason, I think you can actually stack this game. I know last year the Clippers were just getting blown out by the Warriors, but I don't think that's going to be the case this year. I think the Clippers have a really good team this year. They're playing very well. At home versus the Warriors, I believe these two teams do have somewhat of a rivalry. I think there are a lot of good plays in this game, so I love Austin Rivers and I love Klay Thompson, 2 guys I definitely think you can target from that game. And then looking for some value plays at shooting guard, I think Patrick Beverley is in consideration today at 5,900. This guy doesn't provide a ton of upside. Rarely is he going to get you 40-plus DK points. But for cash games, Beverley's always pretty consistent, can definitely get you 5 to 6x value. And I love the potential for Beverley to rack up some steals here. He will be matched up with Steph Curry, and we know Curry likes to dribble the ball around a ton. Beverley is one of the best defenders when it comes to picking guys' pocket. Beverley could definitely rack up some steals here. So especially if you're playing on FanDuel today, where 3 points or steals are worth 3 points, I think you should be considering Patrick Beverley at 5,900. He's having to play a ton of minutes. He can get you defensive stats. He can score. He can rebound. Can get you some assists as well. I think Patrick Beverley, value play you can definitely consider at point guard or shooting guard today at 5,900. But another core play for me is going to come from shooting guard, a really cheap value play I like. Been on him for a couple of days now, and his price just doesn't seem to rise, always stays the same. That's J.J. Barea at 4,300 going up against the Jazz. I think Barea is just a little bit too cheap today for how well he's been playing. Obviously, the matchup isn't great, having to go up against the Jazz, a pretty good defensive team and a team that does play at a pretty slow pace. But like I said, I think Barea is just too cheap at 4,300. If you just look at this guy's game log, he's been so consistent this year. 25, 29, 29, 27, 30, 20, and 22 DraftKings points. And he's only 4,300 today. So for him to hit value, get you 6x value, you need like 25 DK points, which he can totally do even in a tough matchup. So I think even going up against the Jazz, J.J. Barea is still going to be a value play I target today at point guard or shooting guard. I think he's just too cheap for how well he's been playing. He should definitely not be 4,300 even in this spot. I think he should be somewhat around 5K. So I'm going to take advantage of this cheap price tag and roll with J.J. Barea today, plugging him into the util at 4,300. But yeah, I think that is pretty much it for shooting guard. Not a ton of cheap value plays I like here. Barea is a guy definitely going to be targeting for value. If in that 5K range, I think there are a couple guys that you can target here. Like Patrick Beverley, I think is in play. Klay Thompson's a guy I like. DeMar DeRozan, also think he's in play. Maybe if you want to target a guy like Gary Harris against the Knicks. The Knicks just terrible defensively. I think Harris could be somewhat of a value play today. He's 5,600, not a great price, but he is going to face the Knicks. And Harris definitely has upside if his shot's falling. He can get you 30, 40 DK points. So if you want to target him for value, I think he's in play. But I think that's pretty much all I'm seeing today. Let's go ahead and move on to small forward. All right, so up top at small forward, we've got Kevin Durant here at 9,800 going up against the Clippers. I think if you want to pay up for Durant today, he's totally in play. The dude's just too cheap. He's 9,800. He's under 10K. I think Durant should never be under 10K. Now that the Clippers have Gallinari, it's not as great of a matchup for Durant. Durant, I think, is pretty much matchup proof. Doesn't really matter who's guarding him. He can win any matchup. So if you want to pay up for Kevin Durant, I think he's definitely in play. In that price range, though, I would much rather have Ben Simmons at 9,200. But in a game that I think is going to be competitive and high scoring, Kevin Durant definitely in play at 9,800. Then looking for some other small forwards. Aaron Gordon is 7,500 and he gets to face the Pelicans. That's a really good matchup for Aaron Gordon. 7,500 does seem like a lot to pay for him. But this guy does have a ton of upside. We saw it against Brooklyn. He put up 41 points in that game, 14 rebounds, 65 fantasy points. So Gordon does have that kind of GPP winning upside. At 7,500, I feel like not a ton of people are going to be on him at that price tag. So if you're looking for a GPP play, definitely consider Aaron Gordon today at 7,500. You're looking for some mid-tierish and cheaper plays at small forward. I think a guy like Jason Tatum's definitely in consideration today at 5,800 going up against the Spurs. Not a great matchup against the Spurs. We know the Spurs are a pretty good defensive team and they do play at a slow pace. I think this price tag is a little bit too cheap for Tatum. He's only 5,800, so for him to hit value, you're going to need like 30, 35 DK points for cash game value, which he could totally get even in a tough matchup against the Spurs. Tatum does play heavy minutes pretty much every night, plays over 30 minutes. So I think if you want to target him as small forward, somewhat of a cheapest play, I think he's in play at 5,800, definitely a guy I will be considering today. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for small forward. There's not a ton of value I see here. Just not a ton of guys I feel very confident in this price tag or in this price range. Maybe as the day goes on, maybe somebody will get injured or something and value will open up. But as of now, I'm recording this video the night before, I'm not seeing a ton of cheap value plays I'm going to be targeting, especially small forward. Not a ton of guys here that I'm going to be looking at. So yeah, with that being said, let's go ahead and move on to power forward. Alright, so up top at power forward, we've got DeMarcus Cousins at 11,600 going up against the Magic. I think Boogie is definitely in play today. He's really expensive, but Boogie's just been killing it this year. He's averaging 66 DK points, which I don't think is going to continue, but right now, as well as he's playing, I think you definitely want to hop on. If you just look at his last 3 games, 66, 83, and 70 DraftKings points, just been totally killing it. In that last game against Cleveland, Anthony Davis was on the court in that game, and Boogie still put up 70 DK points, got a triple-double. So he definitely has the upside. Even though he's expensive, he can pay off that price tag. And it's a great matchup against the Magic. They don't really have anyone that can defend Boogie or AD. I think AD is also in play today. I think I'd rather prefer Boogie for just 600 more, but one of these guys is probably going to have a monster game. Wouldn't surprise me if either or if both of them had a monster game. So if you want to pay up for Boogie or AD, I think both are in great spots. But since I went with Simmons in the core, don't really have the salary to fit in these 11K guys. So I'm not going to be plugging them into the core, but Boogie and AD, definitely two guys I'm going to be considering into some of my other lineups today. And then looking for some other power forwards, Blake Griffin is 9,300 and he gets to face the Warriors. Obviously, it's going to be a tough matchup for Blake Griffin going up against Draymond Green. But I could totally see Griffin just having a monster game here, especially if this game stays close. You would think it's going to be because of Griffin. So if you want to pay up for him at power forward, I think he's definitely in consideration. Blake's just been so solid this year. Through 5 games, he's got 53, 49, 44, 44, and 40 DraftKings points. Just so consistent, has yet to record a game under 40 DK points. And even in a tough matchup against Draymond Green, I think with the pace of this game and with how competitive and high scoring it should be, Blake Griffin could totally smash. So I love him today at 9,300. I think he's definitely worth paying up for. Also love Nikola Jokic today for 400 less going up against the Knicks. I think the Joker definitely in play today. He has yet to really put up a monster game so far this year, has yet to record a triple-double. One of his best games was against Atlanta. He was one of my favorite plays that day. He did put up 46 DK points in that game, had 18 points, 5 assists, and 15 rebounds. Jokic definitely has triple-double upside, has 50, 60-point upside. And going up against the Knicks, a terrible defensive team, wouldn't surprise me at all if Jokic really broke out here for 50, 60 plus. So if you want to pay up for him at power forward or center, I think Jokic definitely in play today at 8,900. In that price range, it's going to be really hard to choose from these 4 guys right here. From Blake Griffin down to Porzingis, I love all 4 of these guys. Griffin gets to face the Warriors. I've already talked about him. Jokic, a great matchup against the Knicks. LaMarcus Aldridge has been playing really well this year. He gets to face Boston, who doesn't really have anyone that matches up well with him. So I think Aldridge is definitely in play. Kristaps Porzingis gets to face Denver, and that's a good spot for Porzingis, I think. So all 4 of these guys, from Griffin down to Porzingis, I think all four of them are in play. I think Blake's probably my favorite, and then it would go Blake, Jokic. I would probably rank them how they are right now. But these 4 guys right here, all 4 guys I'm going to be considering today in their price range. And then since I talked about a lot of expensive guys, I'm going to try and hit on some value plays at power forward if there are value plays. I think Enes Kanter, if you're looking in that mid-tier, I think he's somewhat of a value play at 6K today. He gets to face Denver. He'll be matched up with Paul Millsap, which isn't a great matchup. But since Denver does have 2 bigs, I would imagine that Kanter is going to have to play some heavy minutes here. Since Denver has Millsap and Jokic, they're going to need Kanter and Porzingis both out there to go up against them. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if Kanter had a nice game here. We know this guy has upside. If he gets the minutes, he can rack up 35, 36, 40 plus. We saw it against Boston. He put up 41. So really all you need from Kanter is minutes. He's going to produce when he's on the court. And I think he is going to have to play some minutes here since Denver has 2 really good bigs. They're going to need Kanter out there. So I like him at 6K at power forward. I think he's in play as a mid-tierish value play. I mentioned Jason Tatum earlier as a cheaper play. He's 5,800. He's going up against the Spurs. I think he's in play. If you want to plug him in at power forward, I like him for value. And then looking for some guys sort of in the 5K tier and under. Ryan Anderson at 5,100 going up against the Sixers. I think Ryan Anderson could be a potential cheapish play here, especially if Eric Gordon doesn't play for this game. I believe Gordon sat out on their game on Saturday, and Anderson had a really good game. He put up 37 DK points against Memphis on Saturday when Eric Gordon was out. So if Eric Gordon is out for this game, definitely consider Ryan Anderson today as a value play at 5,100. Really good price tag. For him to get 6x, you need 30 DK points, and he could totally get that, especially if Eric Gordon is not playing today. So I like Ryan Anderson as a potential value play at 5,100. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it for power forward. There aren't a ton of cheap guys here again that I'm seeing. It's just really hard to find value, really hard to consider some of these guys when we don't really know if they're going to see minutes. The only time these guys are really in play is if somebody gets injured and they have to move into the starting lineup. We usually get news like that the day of the slate, and I record my videos the night before. So it's kind of hard to recommend these guys. I don't want to recommend them if I'm not actually going to be putting them into my lineups. So yeah, with that being said, let's go ahead and move on to center. Alright, so at center, I'm going to talk about guys that I haven't talked about at other positions, so I'm going to skip over some of these guys that I talked about at power forward. Karl-Anthony Towns is at 9K. He gets to face the Heat today. I believe the Heat are going to be without Hassan Whiteside. I think he's already been ruled out for this game. So it's going to be a great matchup for Karl-Anthony Towns. I think if you want to pay up for him, he's definitely in play at 9K. I really like Ben Simmons, though, so if I'm going to pay up in that 9K range, Ben Simmons is probably my guy, but there are definitely other guys in that range, like Blake Griffin, Karl-Anthony Towns, Ben Simmons, Kevin Durant, all in that 9K range. All those guys are good plays, Simmons being my favorite, though. So I won't have much exposure to Towns, but it is a good matchup. The Heat are going to be without Hassan Whiteside, so Towns should just totally smash. So if you want to pay up for him, I think he's in play at center. But in this 7K range, there are a couple guys I absolutely love here. One of them being one of my core plays at center. DeAndre Jordan at 7,300 going up against the Warriors. Just love this spot for DeAndre Jordan, and I think he's a little bit too cheap. Jordan has played really well this year, even without Chris Paul lobbing the ball up to him. Jordan's still having some really good games. Against the Lakers, he had 14 points and 24 rebounds in that game, put up 48 DraftKings points. Against the Jazz in a tough matchup against Rudy Gobert, Jordan had 11 points and 18 rebounds. So we know this guy has potential to get you 20 points, 20 rebounds, just totally crush value. And it wouldn't surprise me if he had one of those games here against the Warriors. The Warriors don't really have a big center that matches up well with DeAndre Jordan. I would imagine the Warriors are going to put Draymond Green on Blake Griffin. So DeAndre Jordan should just totally be able to eat in this matchup against Zaza Pachulia. Should totally be able to dominate the boards, grab a ton of rebounds in this spot. So I love him today at 7,300. I think he's going to be able to get over 40 DraftKings points. So I'm going to be plugging him in at center at 7,300. And then looking for some other centers under 7K. Al Horford gets to face the Spurs. I definitely like this spot for Al Horford. There's one spot you can't attack the Spurs. It's with bigs. They're not as good against centers as they are against other positions. Paul Gasol isn't the best defender, so if you want to target Al Horford today at 6,900, I definitely like him. Definitely think he is in play. I would prefer just to find $400 to get up to DeAndre Jordan, but if you don't have the salary, I think you can play Al Horford at 6,900. And then looking for some guys under 6K, maybe some value plays we can target at center. I'm not seeing a ton here, not a ton of guys I'm going to be looking to target. Just some of these guys don't play enough minutes, or they're just in tough matchups. Like Nerlens Noel, if this guy would get minutes, he would be a great fantasy play, but he just doesn't get enough minutes, and especially going against Utah, I'm not going to play him anyway, but I would pretty much play Nerlens Noel any night if he got 30-plus minutes, but he never does, so we can't play him. There are guys here that I've talked about earlier, like Ryan Anderson. You can play him at center. I think he's a fine play. Maybe Serge Ibaka at 5,300. I think Serge Ibaka could definitely be in consideration here. He has been pretty consistent lately, 23, 27 DraftKings points in his last two games. It's a good matchup against Portland. He's only 5,300. He gets 25, 30 DK points. That's pretty good value. And Ibaka does play some pretty good minutes. Played 34 minutes against the Lakers. So if you want to target him, I think he's a fine value play at 5,300. But I'm not seeing a ton of guys like sub 4 or 5K that we can really target here. So with that being said, I think that's pretty much it for center. That's pretty much it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you drop a like on the video and be sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel. Be sure to cut on notifications as well. Click that little bell so that way you'll never miss out on any of my new videos. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video. Good luck tonight, guys. Peace.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah, she shaking fast. Yeah, she dropping slow. What? Yeah, neck on fro. Whoa, 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 whoa.